Today on Weenie Envy, Stonecloaker. 2/1 white for a 3/2 creature with Flash, Flying, and 2 enters the battlefield abilities. Flash means you can play whenever you can play an instant, which means its 2 come into play abilities are actually really strong. Flying, obviously, 3 mana for a 3/2 flyer is excellent, and then the other 2 abilities are just double icing on the cake. When it enters the battlefield, you return a creature you control to its owner's hand, and when it enters the battlefield, you exile target card from a graveyard. These 2 enter the battlefield abilities are kind of confusing, so I'm going to break down what they do. When it enters the battlefield, it triggers both abilities. At the same time, you can put either one on the stack. Remember that the one on the bottom of the stack will resolve last, the one on the top resolves first. So you'll say, like, when it comes to play exile target for card from a graveyard, if you're trying to get around something like Surgical Extraction or Extirpate, you can do it by casting Stonecloaker and targeting whatever card was being targeted. When it comes into play, it also returns a creature you control to owner's hand, which means if you have no other creatures, you return Stonecloaker itself. So for 3 mana, you can cast it and exile a card, and it comes back to your hand. So effects would say whenever you cast a spell, this happens. Stonecloaker can fulfill that by casting and pulling itself back up. But you have to target a card if you can. If you can't target a card, that effect just fizzles. It's a creature, it doesn't get countered, it doesn't, it fizzles out because there was no target. So it's a very interesting, very difficult card to understand. And of course the artwork is amazing. You see a gargoyle, which is the creature type, grabbing someone to protect them, and then staring down some sort of a evildoer, or perhaps looking at something saying, I don't like that spell that someone cast, I'm getting rid of it. It's a really cool card. Years ago, there used to be the combat wasn't split up between attack and defense, and I know at least one player who used to cast it, and in between blocks, they would block one creature, then they would cast Stonecloaker. Stonecloaker would come into play, block another creature, and return itself to your hand. Then you'd pay 3 mana. He would pay 3 mana, cast Stonecloaker again, put the enters battlefield effects on the stack, and then block another creature, and then pull it back up to your hand. That kept it from dying from combat damage. It was blocking creatures and coming back up to his hand, and that's not how that plays. If you see someone doing that, that's not how that plays. Like I said, that ruling has changed. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that never actually was a rule. It's just, unfortunately, some people can get away with that because they don't get challenged enough. People don't look at that ruling and say, I don't know if it works that way, can I get a judge? Never be afraid to ask for a judge's assistance if you don't understand a ruling, or if somebody's doing something you think that might not be the case. Feel free to ask for a judge's ruling. I think that's completely fair. But Stonecloaker's ability on the card, it does the effect, returns a creature you control to owner's hand, and it exiles a target card from a graveyard. 3/2 flying flash for 2/1 white. Excellent creature. The subject of today's Weenie Envy. And I hope you're having a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, or a wonderful evening, and I hope tomorrow's even better. Take care, everyone.